Today, I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory.
Sir Keir Starmer is expected to announce plans for a digital ID scheme which will be compulsory in order to work in the UK.
You would be required to have a digital ID and be able to produce that.
I'm Russian living in the UK. I came from the country where digital ID has been real for years. At first, I just wanted to make a video about its pros and cons, nothing dramatic. But the deeper I looked into it, the more it gave me the creeps. I realized that digital ID played part in something really catastrophic in Russia. And now, living here in the UK, I can't help but worry that this same dangerous tool might appear here too. But let's take it step by step.
Why do you think that them having to have a digital ID would stop that problem when right now people are meant to have a national insurance number and card, and if they're not asked for that, a boss is willing already to break the rules? What's the difference going to be?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working.
They're selling digital ID as fighting illegal migration. Sounds very exciting. Way nicer than we'll link your fingerprints, your face, all of your data to our servers and we'll track your life. But they forgot to mention that for immigrants like me, this tool, this digital ID, basically already exists. This is my BRP, British Residence Permit. And now it's useless, because we all switched to e-visa, basically digital ID already, but for immigrants. Since January 2025, we're on UKVI e-visa, one database for status, biometrics and viewing proof for right to work or rent. So why not just expand that? It's 80% ready. Because the migration line is a cover. Without that trick, the idea would never fly in Britain, because British people, I think, are allergic to government intrusion. So the real play here is to normalize the national ID for everyone, wrapped in the hottest topic of the decade, immigration. Besides this glorious victory over illegal migration, the government also promises some nice bonuses, faster services, less paperwork, total convenience. And honestly, this part is absolutely true. It will be convenient. And by the way, in Russia, nobody had to be convinced. No big speeches, no debates, no petitions. They just built an insanely convenient system and quietly made it mandatory. Many things moved online. You simply had to use it. Within a few years, 95% of Russians signed up willingly. Well, willingly. And during lockdown, they got even smarter. You couldn't leave your house without a QR pass. And the only way to get one was through the government portal, through digital ID. Surprise, the user base just doubled overnight. And I will repeat that. It is convenient. You can renew your passport, pay fines, book a doctor, register your flat, even your dog, all in minutes. It basically runs your life. Birth, school, taxes, healthcare, and death. And it sounds like a digital paradise, right? It sounded like that in Russia, until you read the terms and conditions. That convenience comes at a price. A bit of your freedom. That's the real deal behind digital ID. No matter who is in charge, authoritarian Russia or democratic Britain, anyone, governments all want the same thing, control. Everything else is just a decoration and some sparkles to create the right effect. So how does this control actually work? Let me show you how it's done in Russia, and you can decide for yourself what it might look like here. Picture this. You went to a protest last year. Today you are just riding the tube, minding your own business. And suddenly, police stop you. Why? There is another protest planned nearby, and the cameras recognize your face. So they prevent you by holding you for a few hours. This is how it's done today. Since 2020, Moscow runs one of the world's biggest facial recognition networks in the world, linked directly to its digital ID system called Gosuslugi. Street, metro, even building cameras can spot you, match your profile, and track every single move. After 2021 protests, around 500 people were detained after rallies, found through this system. After the war began, even more, just for being recognized. With that level of control and the brutality of crackdowns, protests became nearly impossible. So organizers are caught before they meet, and activists the moment they step outside their homes. This is Monetочка. I love her music. A well-known Russian singer and poet. She spoke out against the war. Soon after, she was labeled a foreign agent. In Russia today, that label means enemy of the state. So Russian authorities opened a criminal case against her for violating the foreign agents law, specifically for not labeling her content as foreign agent content, as required by that law. It's not just for celebrities. Journalists, teachers, even bloggers can be caught. Maybe even me after this video. It doesn't just kill your career in Russia. It can kill you digitally. Once you're on that list, parts of Gosuslugi may shut down for you. You might lose the ability to apply for documents, join tenders, or even vote. The same portal that gives passports and healthcare becomes digital blacklist. One click and you vanish as a citizen. This one is brutal. In Russia, the government can now draft people into the army fully online. You don't have to sign anything or even open the message. If a call-up notice appears in your digital ID account, it's legally delivered, even if you never saw it. From that moment, the system locks you down. You can't leave country in this case, can't sell property, can't get loans, or renew your driver license, all automatically, no court, no appeal. During the pandemic, I remember applying for QR pass through my digital ID account and riding through empty Moscow on my motorbike. It felt cinematic at that time. And turns out I was just starring in my own little Black Mirror episode. No QR code. You couldn't enter shopping centers, cafes, the metro in some regions, or even hospitals. Later, the same system was quietly reused for border control and migration tracking. Because once you build the infrastructure like that, you can basically repurpose it for anything. There are many examples like this. If I just count them all, it will be like 1 hour video. For instance, the online voting, that you can imagine it's not transparent at all. Or the inevitable data leaks. Every country that launches the digital ID ends up with them. In Russia, whole identity packs are traded on the dark web. You'll probably find mine there as well. Honestly, describing all this made me uneasy. But that's the state of play in Russia today. Could something like this ever happen in the UK? I don't know. You tell me. 10 years ago, I couldn't imagine it in Russia either. Most of the modern democracies don't rule through fear or violence, but they can through data and algorithms. They can always say, it's algorithm, not us. And governments here change, but the control system stays. And who will hold the control 10 years from now? Nobody knows. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this interesting, subscribe. See you next time.